Welcome to Eutopia. Today we are preparing for the FSP. As you guys know, I already did the FSP a couple of years ago. I did it twice because once I failed. Back then I didn't follow any courses. I just prepared by myself, following some Facebook groups. And I didn't do it quite well. And I regretted that for a long time. And that's why I actually started this YouTube channel, making the 3 first videos on how I did it and how I would do it otherwise. I also made this video about how not to learn German, which is very much linked to all of my regrets in that process. To help us not to commit those mistakes, there's not only my experience, but the experience from the team of expert doctors who will be joining us today. This is the team of Medde Online. They are medical doctors who themselves did this exam, and they created an academy with courses to prepare for the FSP and the Kenntnisseprüfung. Joining us today is again the Dr. Lindeque. She joined us last video as well. And I already have a personal opinion, but I would like to ask her opinion and how she manages the main challenges that different parts of this exam may present. So FSP. FSP is a Fachsprachprüfung. It checks your German language. It does not check your medical language, although at some points the examiners may trick you a little bit and bring some medicine out of you. This exam has 3 parts. The first part is a conversation with a patient, who is not a patient, is more like an actor. And this is the anamnesis. You are talking with this patient, who is actually an examiner. And you have 20 minutes to get a complete anamnesis. Absolutely everything as much as you can. And part number 2 is the documentation. Documentation on a piece of paper, also 20 minutes. And part number 3 is the presentation of this theoretical patient to your superior doctor, your overars, and it's also 20 minutes. Each part has its little tricks, and not only from the examiners, but also from the way that it is prepared. And not only by knowing German you necessarily pass it, you actually have to prepare for it because this exam wants to be done in a very specific way. The part number 1, you want to take a perfect anamnesis of your patient in 20 minutes. This already, I'm telling you guys, it is very unrealistic. Like, you will do it, and I did it, but in real life, it's unrealistic. You need more than 20 minutes to get a perfect anamnesis. And when I say a perfect anamnesis, I don't mean just the problems to find out what the problem is and just diagnose it properly. You have to talk about the family, you need to talk about the allergies, you need to talk about every single thing that happened 20 years ago, which officially it's relevant, but in the real life, it does not quite look like real life to some degree. When it comes to the little tricks that the examiners will pull, the patient, so another examiner, will try to get you off your guard and will try to trick you. For example, we'll start telling you a story that happened 20 years ago, which has nothing to do with the disease, to make you think about something else. Will actively try to tell you problems about the family, which has nothing to do, just to waste your time of the 20 minutes. And will tell you how to bake a pie. I don't know. This happens. They literally do tell you how to bake a pie to force you to break them politely to gain your 20 minutes. Little tricks that they will pull on you that you should be prepared for. Also, often they get emotional or they pretend to get emotional just to gain some more time. So to make sure that you don't have the time to ask everything. It is, however, extremely important that you do ask everything, because if you leave any detail not asked, in the part 3, when the superior doctor, when the overars asks you something, the overars was there in the interview, so he knows exactly what you didn't ask. So he will ask you literally that thing, and then you will say, sorry, I forgot to ask, and then you fail. So very important, part 1 of the exam anamnesis, that you ask about everything. Also, if this wasn't enough, the patient doesn't talk to you in a medical German. They talk to you in Umgangssprache German, like a normal German, and they use this German, not medical words, for medical things. And you need to talk to them similarly, without medical terms. So we have a couple of challenges. We have tricky examiners, we have extensive vocabulary of this street German and this medical German, and we have little time. So how do we prepare for these challenges? Medde Online, Dr. Lindeque, these 20 minutes are a very short time for getting a whole anamnesis. Is this even realistic?
Nun, 20 Minuten können realistisch sein, sind aber tatsächlich ein bisschen knapp. aber in Deutsch sagt man so schön, Übung macht den Meister. Der beste Weg, all dies zu trainieren, besteht darin, sich Prüfungssimulationen immer wieder anzuschauen, selbst als Prüfling Prüfungssimulationen mitzumachen und durchzuführen und jeden einzelnen Teil separat zu üben, bis du ihn beherrschst. Lerne auch, wie man angemessen auf unvernünftige oder emotionale Äußerungen des Patienten reagiert. Das macht dich dann insgesamt kompetenter.
In the second part of the exam, we sit by ourselves and we write down everything on a piece of paper. The difficulty here is, once again, you have 20 minutes and it's very difficult to write down in 20 minutes everything. Like literally, the moment it starts, you start writing, and 20 minutes that your pen doesn't leave the paper and yet you didn't have enough time. Not only that, every single thing that you write now has to be written in medical German. So once again, you need to have the synonyms very clear on your mind, know which is the word for something in the street German and in the medical German, because you cannot lose a second to think about it. It has to come automatically out of your hand, out of your mouth in the first part of the exam, and out of your hand in the second part of the exam, the medical side of that word. Also, if that wasn't enough, the way you write has to be grammatically perfect and well structured. And in real life, you do take longer than 20 minutes to write a Bericht, to write a letter. However, in the exam, you need to make it in 20 minutes. So it's very important also that you have a very structured mind and you know exactly what you want to write. So what are our challenges in this part of exam? Little time, again, extensive vocabulary, and the perfect grammatical documentation. Regarding the second part of the exam, all of the documentation, and again, the little time that there is, how can we better prepare to make sure we don't make any grammar mistakes and make sure that we actually do get to write everything on time in just those little 20 minutes?
Ja, okay. Also wir empfehlen, drucke dir mehrmals die Vorlage eines Anamnesebogens aus und fülle ihn mit Beispielantworten aus. Wir haben in unserem Kurs über 100 Arztbriefe, die die Studierenden dann als Referenz verwenden können. Und wir kommentieren auch in den Kursen live die Dokumentation, damit wir eben die besten Tipps vermitteln können und die schlimmsten Fehler, damit du die schlimmsten Fehler vermeiden kannst. Das hilft dir dann zu wissen, was du oder wie du deine Anamnesebefunde effektiv dokumentierst und dabei eben auch noch schnell bist und die 20 Minuten einhalten kannst.
In the third part of the exam, you will present your patient to your Oberarzt. Your Oberarzt, your superior doctor, was also there during the interview and knows what's going on, but pretends not to. And so you present the patient, and after like 5 to 10 minutes talking, the Oberarzt will either cut you or maybe let you finish, and then the questions start. Why this, why that? Some of those questions may be medical, which is not allowed to ask, but they will ask it anyway, and then let's see what happens. Theoretically, you can say, hey, sorry, this is a medical question. I don't want to go very deep in the theory, but in the practice, if you want to pass the exam to some degree, you need to manage it. And again, anything you didn't ask will be asked, so you need to make sure you get out of the situation easily. It is known that some of these examiners that pretend to be your Oberarzt will do a little bit of Unterdrücken, meaning they will press you down, will try to make you smaller. Little bit of bullying, which also happens with real Oberärzte. A little bit of bullying you and to see what you're made of, and sometimes people get too small and they get a bit scared and they get nervous and they start making mistakes with the words, and then they fail the exam that way because they made mistakes. It's a difficult part of the exam because it's unpredictable, and how can you prepare for the unpredictable? On top of that, afterwards, if you more or less did fine, the Oberarzt will tell you, okay, now pretend that I am a patient, and now you have to explain to me why I need to be operated. Or pretend I'm a patient, and now you explain to me why do I need to get in a donut-shaped CT, and why you're going to radiate me, and why I should accept to that, do the Aufklärung. And then you have to do that. So not only do you have to present everything and talk to your Oberarzt, afterwards you need to do a sogenannte Aufklärung. You need to inform and get the informed consent of your patient for something. So here comes the question and the main challenges of part 3. It is unpredictable. How do you prepare for the unpredictable.
So let's ask Dr. Lindeque, how can we now prepare for the unpredictable? We don't know with what kind of curved questions the overrush will come to us. We don't know if the overrush will be nice to us or not. How can we prepare for the unpredictable?
Ja, gehe mehrmals die Fachbegriffslisten und Aufklärungen durch. Das verleiht dir einen umfangreichen Wortschatz und auch Sätze, was dir hilft, insgesamt keine Überraschung bei der Fachsprachprüfung zu erleben. In unserem Kurs trainieren wir alle Teile umfassend mit Dutzenden von Beispielen und Prüfungsfällen.
At the end of the exam, and after passing all of these 3 parts, depending on the region in Germany where you're doing this exam, you may be asked to, on top of that, they will give you a little piece of paper with many words, and you will have to write the medical version of it. Or maybe otherwise, they will give you the medical version of it and they will ask you to do the street version of those words. Overall, I have to say that the exam feels to some degree unfair because there is no objective way of measuring whether you did good enough or not good enough. You have human beings who are examining you in a non-objective way. And if they don't like you or you don't like them, and if there's no chemistry between the 2 of you, 3 of you, then it may be the case that you fail, even though you are a good doctor and you have already had some experience with patients and you always did great. On the other side, if you are to prepare to all 3 parts very well, then you should be able to pass this exam because you can make simulations and do great in all the simulations, and then you come to the exam and then it's easy peasy.
Would you like to close this video with a take-home message for those who are either already preparing for the FSP or those who are getting through it or thinking about starting to prepare for it?
Ja, sehr gerne. Danke, Guillermo. Wir würden den Prüflingen gerne empfehlen, nicht vorab mit der Einstellung und dem Denken zur Prüfung zu gehen, sie sei unfair, auch wenn sie in einigen Fällen und an manchen Prüfungen manchmal unfair ist. Geht mit einer Strategie dorthin, nachdem ihr Prüfungssimulationen geübt und andere Personen bei Simulationen beobachtet habt, die zu dem Zeitpunkt besser vorbereitet waren als ihr. Unwissenheit erzeugt Angst, aber Vorbereitung und Wiederholung ist die Mutter aller Fähigkeiten. Also wiederholt und perfektioniert, wie ein Sportler, der jeden Tag trainiert und macht das zu einer täglichen Routine. Und dann wird alles gut.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Lindeque, for your help and your insights. I have to say, guys, for the courses that Medde Online gives to prepare the FSP and the Kenntnisseprüfung, well, compared with other courses, they're already cheap. But on top of that, there's a little discount code from me for a 15%, I believe. So if you do happen to be interested and if you do happen to buy them, make sure you put the code as well so you get 15% off.